So this class will be on cloud computing. And then what I wanted to say was that at the end of each of your units, you see a lot of questions there. And the questions are mostly objective, A, B, C, D answers. You go through them. If you're able to answer the question, that shows that you understand every part of that particular chapter. By now, many of you would have been hearing about the concept of cloud computing. And like me, at the beginning, when I heard about it, and then I was privileged to fly on an aircraft very high into the sky. So then I was looking at the clouds, and I was imagining that this is where they store most of the information that we are looking for. But I later found out that cloud computing is just a terminology. It doesn't have anything to do with the physical cloud you are seeing upstairs. And those clouds you see up when you are looking up does not have anything to do with cloud computing, but it's just a concept. When you stop and you can access it from any place, clearly when it's on the internet, you can use cloud computing to describe it. So in the ever-changing economic environment, success of any organization depends solely on its ability to quickly adapt to technological innovation. Many businesses now, they now use cloud computing as a business and economic model. And so that will now necessitate us to understand this concept and its deployment strategy. So this unit will introduce cloud computing characteristics, and its associated deployment model. Intended learning outcome. At the end of this unit, you should be able to, number one, describe cloud computing. 2, enumerate the benefits of cloud computing. 3, develop and deploy proprietary networks of cloud-hosted services. 4, identify the various service models. And 5, assess decisions on deploying cloud computing. What is cloud computing? I think it was coined as a result of the movement of application and services to the internet. The internet is what we are using this concept of cloud to represent. And it's the next step in the evolving nature of the internet. The cloud in cloud computing provides a channel in which everything from computing power to computing infrastructure, application, business processes, to personal collaboration will be delivered to you as a service anytime. Cloud computing is a computing paradigm in which a large number of maybe devices are connected in private or public network that provides some flexible infrastructures for application, data, and file storage. And with the availability of the cloud, the cost of storing information and processing capabilities is minimized to the barest. Characteristics of cloud computing, they are divided into 5, and they are on-demand self-service, on-demand self-service. That is one of the characteristics of cloud computing. Here, a consumer can individually purchase processing capability that includes server time and network storage at a go without interacting with the provider. So once they make an order, they can get it fulfilled. Broad network access. Capabilities are available on the network whose accessibility is through a standard mechanism promoting usage by different user platforms. Example, smartphone, laptop, and personal digital assistant. Broad network access. Resource pooling. Service provider put all resources together to service different clients through a multi-tenant model. With various physical and virtual resources dynamically assigned and reassigned based on the demands of clients. These resources include storage, memory, processing, and so on. Rapid elasticity. Capabilities can be provided in a flexible manner so that it can be scaled out with ease. With regard to the client, these capabilities look like they are provided without limit, which can be purchased all the time. Measured service. Resource used are automatically controlled and optimized by the cloud system using a metering capability at certain levels of abstraction that is commensurate with the type of service, e.g. memory, processing bandwidth, and active user account. Utilization of resources can be controlled and monitored, thus providing a form of transparent model to clients. Cloud delivery models. After the establishment of a cloud, the way its services are delivered will depend on client requirements. Cloud services can be deployed using three models, namely SaaS, EaaS, okay. Cloud delivery model, SaaS, software as a PaaS, and IaaS. These are the delivery strategy. Hey, I'm sorry, my video is not even showing here. I don't know what happened to my webcam. It's as if it's covered. So let's look at these ones. You may have heard about them. Software as a service. As the software is the S, as is the A is the A, and service is the S. SaaS is defined as software deployed as a hosted service accessible over the internet. That is, you can deploy service software now, maybe on your computer. By hosting it, you deploy it. Any other person on the internet can access that particular software. Example of that can be your database management system, the open source versions that you have online, like MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server. They are deployed as software, hosted as a hosted service accessible over the internet. So customers or users can access them from any part of the globe. So a customer does not need to purchase servers and license. For providers, cost of hosting and maintenance is low, and there's only one application. So when you are running such a database application online, you can do all your work that you normally do on a server that in such a database. Do it online because you are not going to use any server. They will host it for you and do everything. So nowadays, SaaS services are provided by companies like Google, Salesforce, Microsoft, Zoho, etc. Users of SaaS need not have knowledge or control of the underlying architecture. It doesn't concern them. Anyhow the architecture is, no problem. Then we also have PaaS, Platform as a Service. In this particular model, an environment for development is provided as a service. Customers will acquire access to the platform, which allows them to deploy their software and application to the cloud. Customers also have control over the application running in the environment. They have no control over the underlying software and hardware. And then to be able to scale up and manage applications, PaaS providers give out a predefined operating system application server like lab platform, Ruby, and so on. Then you have the IaaS, infrastructure as a service, SaaS, software as a service, PaaS, platform as a service, IaaS, infrastructure as a service. In this particular model, basic storage and computing capabilities provided as standardized service on the internet. The control and management of the OS, storage and networking connectivity is in the hands of the consumers, but not the control of the cloud infrastructure. Some examples are Amazon. Amazon uses IaaS. Amazon, GoGrid, 3Tera, and so on. Cloud deployment strategies. Requirements determine the type of cloud computing technology that we can deploy. So any of the following strategies can be used. We have the public cloud. Public cloud, the services are characterized as being available to clients from a third-party service provider through the internet. Service provider provide cloud infrastructure on commercial basis, and it allows customers to design and deploy services in the cloud with limited capital, especially when compared with other deployment strategies. It does not imply that the client's data is available to the public, of course, because you have controls there. Control mechanisms are given to the client, and so access is granted to only those whom permissions are given to. It provides an effective way in terms of cost flexibility to deploy solutions. We also have private cloud. This type provides most of the benefits of the public cloud, such as elasticity and cost effectiveness. The infrastructure is deployed and maintained for a certain duration. And the main distinction or difference between a private and public cloud is that in a private cloud, management and processing of data is domiciled in the organization without limitations on network bandwidth, security exposure, and legal requirements, unlike the public cloud. Furthermore, much higher control of the infrastructure is given to the client, unlike the public cloud. Then you have community cloud. We also have community cloud. A community cloud is controlled and used by several organizations with common interests, and it includes certain security arrangements to achieve a common goal. Every member of the community has access to the data and application in the cloud, and this will eventually minimize costs as it is shared between the participating organizations. Lastly, we talk about private cloud, public cloud, community cloud. So we're talking about hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud combines a public and private cloud operating together, and the clients usually outsource non-business critical information and processes to the public cloud, while leaving the control of business critical services and data at their disposal. The infrastructure of hybrid cloud, they consist of some cloud of any type. However, these clouds can allow data and application movement from one point to the other with the help of their interface. Benefits of cloud computing. Does it have any benefits? Yes. First one is reduced cost, because if you are not hosting most of those services that you pay for, maybe you buy the hardware to deploy them and software to drive them, and you are now using services hosted by third party online freely, it will reduce so much cost for you. So sometimes cost of installing some software that are openly available will also be reduced. Increased storage, because most of the items you are working with will be stored in the cloud away from you. You now have your local storage, maybe having more space for you to store more data. Flexibility, cloud computing can also be flexible because it can tolerate the normal traditional computing structure as well as what you have in the cloud too. Challenges, it also has some challenges, or you could call it shortcoming. Data protection. Protection of data is an important component that requires investigation. Every organization, when they harvest data, they try as much as possible to protect it. And sometimes, when you are using cloud computing, you may not even know how secure those cloud platforms are that you are using. So sometimes your data may be compromised. So data protection is a big challenge in cloud computing, because third parties or hackers can come in one way or the other and secure information unannounced and even start destroying such information. Data recovery and availability. Every business application, they have service level agreement, which is strictly adhered to. Operation team are important in managing service level agreement and runtime governance of application. So for data recovery, if your data crashes, for instance, maybe you lose it. For cloud computing, because the company providing that services, they may have mirror servers that store the bulk of this data, they can go back and restore your data from the mirror server without any problem. And the services of cloud computing, they are supposed to be available all the time. that becomes also a problem. So recovering your data and making it available is also a challenge because it will cost so much for you to be able to do that. Management capabilities. Even with the proliferation of service providers, managing platforms and infrastructure is still at an early stage. Features like auto-scaling, for instance, is a vital requirement for different enterprises. Regulatory and compliance restrictions. Every country have their own laws, including Nigeria. So you have the regulatory agencies that may put one or two laws in motion, and sometimes if they are not adhered to, there'll be a big problem. So regulatory and compliance restrictions sometimes could also impose some challenges on the cloud computing itself. Regulatory people will tell you, oh, this is not how I want it to be done. Don't store this information, and then they try to comply as much as possible. It will also cause much problem. This is a short class. So in this unit, you have learned the various cloud computing deployment strategies and how it affects businesses. It has also become clear to you that cloud computing is an important solution, providing cost-effective and easy access to standardized information technology resources. So we'll end the class. If you have any questions, you can ask. Any question, please? Oh, you are even 5. That is good. Any question, please? Any questions? Any question from any of you?
No, sir. Information.
Okay, the class appears to be very short today, but that of next week will be the last class we'll be combining so many classes as once. So after next week, it will revert to single classes. I've been informed that your duration is 8 weeks. We are also supposed to have continuous assessment, test, and the others. So when is your class supposed to end finally, class rep?
So I think from what they said initially, exam is 8th of January. So I think all classes are ending December. This December.
And during Christmas, we'll still be teaching.
I'm not sure. That one will not be possible like that. So.
Because we are supposed to round up this class in 2 weeks' time.
Exactly, sir. That's the target.
After that, I will give you an assignment, or we may do an online test, which you submit, because they will still ask us to submit your CA. Today, you are 5. That is the highest. Some other classes have been having 3 persons, 4 persons. So I will also give mark for attendance, as well as how you participate in classes too. And then I'll give you an assignment, maybe by next week, so that when we are ending the class, you can submit the assignment. I can use it for you. So we have 2 more weeks and 3 more classes to cover.
Okay, sir. So the exam is theory based, right?
That is not for me to determine. Your National Open University, the way they do things, I also much admire them. And for this particular course, a team of experts will draw up the course material. Another expert will go through the material and vet it whether it's okay or not, which they will now give to you people. Another team will now be involved in teaching, which we are doing now. When we teach, our contract ends. Then another team will also set your exam questions from where your questions will be given to you. Yet another team will mark. Before everything now goes to your department and faculty for consideration. So they are doing all things to ensure quality assurance, which is okay.
Oh, I see. Okay, sir.
So God will help you in everything you do. All the best.
Thank you, bro.
So we'll see next week.
I think we will do it. Another team will listen. We'll take the next
see next week by God's grace.
Yes.